With this golden card, I could have gained 1 billion years of cultivation. I would have become invincible in the cultivation world. But instead, I chose the black card that made me unable to cultivate. So now, my days are spent either drinking tea and strolling around, or admiring flowers and watching my junior sister. Everyone calls me a good-for-nothing slacker. Even the elder uses me as a bad example during lectures. But what they could never imagine is that I will shock them all in 3 years. Not long ago, when I cultivated my very first bit of magic power, I activated the Hex Deck Augment selection on a screen that only I can see. 3 cards floated there. Choosing one would grant me the corresponding reward. And as a veteran teamfight tactics player, I'm all too familiar with Hex Deck Augments. After a brief moment of surprise, I saw that the first option was very tempting. But its prerequisites were too high. The second one, Gold from the Sky, was a decent economy-based augment. But the problem was, the third one was Take a Break. This is one of the top-tier starting augments. After waiting for 3 years, I could directly advance by 3 minor realms. I'd go straight from the first level of Chi refinement to the 4th. According to the instructor, ordinary disciples often need to train hard for over 5 years to have a chance of reaching that. Not to mention, Take a Break also rewards a whopping 20,000 spirit stones in one go. My current annual income is only 10 spirit stones. After some thought, I chose the third augment, Take a Break, without any hesitation. In the blink of an eye, 3 years have passed. Now, there's only 1 day left. Early this morning, I rushed to the Dharma Hall and sat on the meditation cushion right in the center of the front row. There's a good reason for my choice. It's said that 50 years ago, a disciple had a sudden enlightenment on this very cushion, reaching the late stage of Chi refinement. I plan to use this location to pay homage to that senior brother with an epiphany of my own. Before long, the tardy instructor, Old Man Wu, spotted me at a glance. He was so shocked he even turned to see if the sun had risen from the west. Oh my. I never thought I'd live to see the day you'd come to class. Instructor, I realize that wasting my time in the past was a grave mistake. From this day forward, I will turn over a new leaf and cultivate diligently. Old Man Wu nodded and returned to the lectern with a calm expression. However, not long after he started his lecture, a gasp was heard from the back. The rising star of the service peak, the new genius Qin Feng, had his eyes closed in concentration as spiritual energy surged around him. His aura suddenly flared, and he successfully broke through to the 4th level of Chi refinement. I couldn't help but gasp. This junior brother Qin Feng had just broken through to the 3rd level 7 days ago. And now he's broken through again. His talent is truly extraordinary. Quickly, all of you, sit down and meditate. Use this opportunity to feel the change in the flow of spiritual energy. Old Man Wu quickly instructed the disciples. I immediately focused and began to meditate, my face full of piety. What a great opportunity. I can pretend to have an epiphany. Breaking through right after them would seem reasonable now, wouldn't it? However, a few breaths later, a cold female voice rang out, so that's how it is. With a burst of astonishing aura. Holding a spirit stone in her hand, she began to emit rolling waves of heat. It pushed back several nearby disciples. It's her, Zhang Xixuan. The Zhang family's heirloom fire technique is as domineering as they say. Just its aura alone is several times stronger than the basic breathing technique. Old Man Wu looked at them, nodding repeatedly, all right, all right, all right. I couldn't help but complain to myself, how did she break through too? Could it be that your 3-year deadline is also today? It was already a quarter past the hour of the dragon. The single wisp of mana in my dantian suddenly gained a life of its own, beginning to circulate along its path. In just 10 breaths, I went from the 1st level of Chi refining straight to the 4th level. The aura around my body surged violently 3 times. The commotion far surpassed the previous 2. Supervisor Wu, who was just pondering how to report the good news to the higher-ups, suddenly felt this immense pressure. His hand trembled, and he accidentally plucked out a whisker. He stared intently at me. It was actually you who had the epiphany. Old Man Wu completely lost his composure. Those two were a cultivation genius and the direct heiress of a prominent family. You, kid, you never cultivate, so how did you have an epiphany too? The other disciples were even more dumbfounded, and Qin Feng also turned his gaze toward me. With a complicated expression, he now saw me as a deeply hidden rival. At that moment, Zhang Xixuan was also watching me. She keenly noticed that the spiritual energy around me seemed a little insufficient. She actually stopped her own enlightenment, took out spirit stones, and used her own mana to forcibly channel spiritual energy. To supplement mine, on the barren handyman's peak, gathering 6 streams of mana to stabilize one's realm was no easy task. Just as I was struggling to absorb it, the sudden warmth of the spiritual energy beside me brought me instant relief. 15 minutes later, I successfully condensed 8 streams of mana. I had completely stabilized my realm. I opened my eyes. The first thing I saw was a pair of snow-white wrists. Zhang Xixuan was clutching 2 spirit stones that had been completely drained of their power. I immediately cupped my hands in thanks. My name is Lu Li. Thank you for your help, Miss Zhang. I don't have any spirit stones on me today. I'll be sure to repay you double later. That won't be necessary. Senior brother Lu, you never asked to borrow these spirit stones, so there's no need to talk about repayment. Zhang Xixuan smiled sweetly. It's just that we happened to break through at the same time today. It's such a coincidence, so I was hoping to become friends with you, senior brother Lu. As she spoke, her gaze shifted to Qin Feng. And junior brother Qin, of course. Tonight, during the Yu hour, I'll be hosting a banquet at the Jade House down the mountain. To celebrate with a few of my clansmen. Senior brother Lu. And junior brother Qin, would you do me the honor? Seeing that Qin Feng had accepted, I didn't think much of it and agreed to go along. After the commotion died down, Old Man Wu sent someone to report to the steward, arranging for the three of us to be accepted into the branch as inner sect disciples. Only then did he resume his lecture. But right now, my attention was completely fixed on the new glowing screen that had just popped up in front of me. Just like last time, 3 new cards were floating there. The first one, Axiom Arc, restores 10% of your mana when you kill an enemy. The second one, Risky Move, lose 20 years of your lifespan, but gain 700 Spirit Stones 7 years later. And the third one, Featherweight, increases the cultivation speed of yellow rank techniques by 10 times, and increases the power of yellow rank spells by 10 times. I immediately skipped the options that risked my life or shortened my lifespan. My gaze was locked on the third hex deck. Techniques are divided into Heaven, Earth, Mystic, and Yellow ranks. Yellow rank techniques are already the easiest to cultivate. If I speed that up by 10 times, my progress will advance by leaps and bounds. What's more, there's that terrifying 10 times boost to spell power. And if I remember correctly, the difference between Mystic rank and Yellow rank techniques is usually only a combat power gap of about 2 to 3 times. With a 10 times boost to spell power, even if I choose a Yellow rank technique, I'll still be able to easily overpower a Mystic rank one. Having figured that out, I decisively chose the third hex deck. A moment later, the morning lesson ended and the other disciples left. Only the 3 of us remained. Instructor Wu warned in a somber tone, from the mid-stage of Qi refinement. You must refine 3 strands of spiritual energy for every level you break through. Many disciples spend 8 to 10 years just to reach the threshold of the 6th level of Qi refinement. When you go to the branch division, you absolutely cannot slack off. You must train diligently. We quickly nodded in agreement. Just as he finished speaking, Manager Chen, dressed in a long cyan robe, walked in. Instructor Wu, are these the 3 disciples who made the breakthrough? That's them. Let me introduce you. This is Manager Chen from the 2nd branch division. He's also an instructor at the branch. The 3 of us bowed in unison. Greetings, Manager Chen. Manager Chen sized us up and joked, I remember Zhaowen was stuck at the 1st level of Qi refinement for 3 years. He got into the 9th branch thanks to a single purple orchid. I never thought that in just half a year, another lucky one would show up and go straight to the mid-stage of Qi refinement. Lu Li, I've heard of you. Before I could say anything, he waved his hand. Come on, follow me to get your cultivation manuals first. I'll tell you the branch rules on the way. As we walked, he asked us which sect duties we wanted to take on. Qin Feng immediately said, I'll choose the alchemy hall. Zhang Xixuan followed right after him. I'll go to the quarry. Manager Chen paused for a second. He turned to look at me. What about you? I've been farming the spirit fields for 3 years. I know the work well, I replied directly. I'd like to continue farming the spirit fields. The interest in his eyes vanished instantly. He clearly wrote me off as someone with no talent or background. A common disciple who got by purely on luck. We arrived at the 2nd branch's scripture pavilion. Manager Chen explained, the 1st floor has miscellaneous books, the 2nd floor has yellow rank cultivation manuals. Choosing your manual is crucial for your future path, so all of you choose carefully. Qin Feng and Zhang Xixuan headed straight for the profound rank manuals on the 3rd floor, but I stopped on the 2nd. After looking through everything, I settled on the Qi nourishing breathing technique, the only manual on the entire 2nd floor that could make breaking through bottlenecks easier. It could increase the success rate for breaking through to the late Qi refinement stage by 10%. My eyes lit up as I looked at the manual. If the 10 times effect from Featherweight could work on the manual's special property, then I would have really hit the jackpot. For me, the faster I can break through to new realms, the more hex decks I can obtain. Nothing else matters. When I came out holding the yellow rank manual, Qin Feng and Zhang Xixuan were already waiting by the entrance. They glanced at each other, their eyes wide with shock. Qin Feng couldn't figure it out. In his eyes, I was a genius with heaven-defying comprehension. Yet I had passed up a profound rank manual for the most ordinary yellow rank one. Zhang Xixuan guessed to herself, assuming I was a rogue cultivator. That I was short on spirit stones and resources, forcing me to choose an inferior manual. Manager Chen glanced at the manual in my hand but didn't say a single word. After getting our manuals, it was time to pick our courtyards. Outer sect disciples get 3 main benefits. The right to an advanced manual for your rank, a private courtyard, and a free low-grade magical artifact. I chose a small courtyard in the southeast corner. We were given 2 hours to get our things in order, but Zhang Xixuan came up to me. Senior brother Lu, about picking our magical artifacts later. New disciples can pass on the standard mass-produced artifact and get a discount on a custom-made one instead. It's kind of a hidden perk. I have some extra spirit stones right now. If you need some, please don't hesitate to ask. I took note of that information and politely refused her offer. Thanks for the tip, junior sister. I've saved up a little myself. She smiled and turned to leave. clearly not believing a handyman disciple like me could have much of a fortune. She was just waiting to see me make a fool of myself. I didn't have much to move. I was just heading back to the handyman peak. I found a secluded spot and took out the 200 spirit stones from the slacking off reward, along with the 35 I had stored in the merit hall, and stuffed them all into my robe. I just wish I had a storage pouch. After returning to the branch courtyard, Manager Chen's eyes swept over my bulging chest. He raised an eyebrow and said, "Oh, you want to exchange for a magical artifact yourself? Then go to the merit hall first and pick one out." When I got to the merit hall, the senior brother on duty first recommended the birdwood banner to me. I asked if there were any better options, and he immediately took me to see a damaged green gourd. It contained a strand of green wood spiritual chi, which could manifest a green wood divine general to fight enemies. It was originally a mid-grade magical artifact, but after being damaged, only one divine general remained. Its power was reduced to the 6th level of chi refinement, and it was priced at 200 spirit stones. My eyes lit up immediately. Giving up my standard issue flying sword was worth 50 spirit stones. I only needed to spend 150 to get it. If I repaired it in the future, it could even turn back into a mid-grade artifact. I could also comprehend the green wood spiritual chi to speed up my cultivation. It was practically tailor-made for me. I'll take this green gourd. Please wait a moment, senior brother. Our manager will be here shortly. The senior brother on duty breathed a sigh of relief. He quickly handled the paperwork for me and even reminded me that repairing the gourd required green wood spirit liquid. The Sect's treasury doesn't have it. You should ask around at the 100 Treasures Pavilion in the marketplace more often. I hurriedly cupped my hands in thanks. Not long after, Manager Chen arrived with Qin Feng and Zhang Xixuan. As soon as Zhang Xixuan entered the room, she saw the green gourd at my waist, and a glint of surprise flashed in her beautiful eyes. She had known the value of this gourd all along. Now she completely understood. I wasn't some rogue cultivator who was broke and had no spirit stones. I had ignored a profound grade cultivation technique, and deliberately chose a yellow grade one. This made the matter even more intriguing. She immediately made up her mind to host a banquet that night and invite her third brother, Zhang Kunggong, to properly test my background. At the White Jade abode in the Lihuo marketplace, the three Zhang siblings had already met up. Zhang Kunggong had a disdainful look on his face. He just got lucky, that's all. He's 21 years old, with only a year left before the 22-year-old age limit for the inner sect. What can he possibly achieve? Later, I'll test him with some chi-nourishing pills. Then we'll see what he's really made of. Before he could finish speaking, the waiter knocked on the door and said the guests had arrived. At the banquet, after 3 rounds of drinks, Zhang Kunggong directly took out a jade box of chi-nourishing pills. Everyone here today is my little sister's friend. A small gift, just a little token of respect. A single one of these chi-nourishing pills can triple one's cultivation speed. A bottle of 10 costs 5 spirit stones. Ordinary disciples can't afford them at all. Qin Feng was calm and collected, not thinking much of it. I knew perfectly well in my heart that this was a test. I didn't want to get involved in the messy affairs of sect families, so I simply feigned a look of being overwhelmingly flattered and delighted. I looked exactly like an ordinary cultivator who had never seen the world. I accepted the bottle of pills while I was at it. Zhang Kunggong took it all in, becoming even more certain of his judgment. After the banquet ended, the 3 Zhang siblings reviewed the situation. Zhang Kunggong stated confidently, Qin Feng has a mid-grade magical artifact on him. His background is not simple. He's worth recruiting. As for Lu Li, he's just a good-for-nothing who got lucky, with no background and no potential. No need to bother with him. Zhang Ruyue also chimed in, saying he didn't even understand the basic sect dynamics at the dinner table. He's just a mortal from some small town. Sister Ren, you just need to focus on Qin Feng. Zhang Xixuan nodded, although her intuition kept telling her I wasn't that simple, but she still decided not to pay any more attention to me. Just forming a friendly connection would be enough. Yet, deep down, she always had a faint feeling that she had missed some kind of opportunity. Water sect disciples don't have morning classes. The spirit fields aren't assigned until the afternoon. I slept until I woke up naturally, then opened the chi-nourishing breathing technique manual and started cultivating. First, I ran through the basic breathing technique once to get the feel of it, then guided the spiritual energy into my body according to the new technique's manual. The next second, my mind was blown. A massive amount of spiritual energy rushed into my meridians like crazy. It was a full 10 times more than before. The small heavenly cycle, which should have taken an hour to complete, I finished in just a quarter of an hour. And I could be even faster once I mastered it. A tenfold effect for a featherweight contender actually maxed out my cultivation speed. By late afternoon, I had completely gotten the hang of the technique. I had finished converting all my original spiritual power, a task that would take others 10 days to complete. I got it done in half a day. In the afternoon, the spirit fields were assigned. Each outer sect disciple has to manage 5 acres of spirit fields. For other disciples, just casting the spells to tend to them would drain all their spiritual power, and recovery was slow. They had barely any time left for cultivation. But I was different. My cultivation speed was fast, and my spiritual power recovery speed also increased tenfold. The bit of energy consumed by tending the spirit fields was nothing at all. I could even squeeze in a round of practice during breaks while patrolling the fields. For the next 2 months, I was completely absorbed in cultivation. Maximized my time, and my cultivation level shot up like a rocket. When the branch's summer exchange conference arrived, Steward Chen had everyone share their cultivation insights. After listening for a while, I realized that the problems that gave others such a headache, like spiritual energy dissipating or refining not keeping up with absorption, I had never encountered them at all. I could fill my dantian with spiritual energy in a quarter of an hour. Others would advance 10 zhang a day, and feel heartbroken if they regressed 5 zhang at night. I, on the other hand, advanced 100 zhang a day. Even if I regressed 10 zhang, I was still way ahead of the curve. From the entire conference, I only learned one thing: a better technique for absorbing the medicinal power of qi-nourishing pills. After I went back, I followed this method, and took all the free qi-nourishing pills from the Zhang family. On the 9th night, while I was circulating the technique, inspiration struck, and I broke through directly to the 5th level of qi refining. A path that takes others 2.5 years to complete, I finished in just 2.5 months. Another 2.5 months passed, and not only had I stabilized my cultivation level, but I was even about to touch the threshold of the 6th level of qi refining. I made a special trip to the Merit Hall and spent 5 spirit stones on a bottle of qi-nourishing pills. On the way, I dropped by the Autumn Exchange Conference. The moment I walked in the door, Steward Chen, who was at the Foundation Establishment realm, immediately sensed my cultivation level and shot to his feet. With a look of utter shock, he shouted, "Lu Li, when did you break through? How could you break through so fast? Did you also find some kind of heavenly treasure?" At his shout, all the disciples in the hall turned to look. Every single one of them stared at me with wide eyes, as if looking at a monster. In half a year, going from the 4th to the 5th level of qi refining. That's over a month faster than the record set by the Sect's dual spirit root genius. And what's more, I'm just a low-grade wood spirit root. Steward Chen quickly walked over to my side, sensing my stable cultivation level. He asked again, "So you cultivated on your own and had another sudden epiphany?" I nodded my head vigorously, going along with what he said and admitting to it. He pulled me directly to the front of the stage to share with everyone my cultivation methods for the past 6 months. My mind went completely blank. What methods did I have? I could only bite the bullet and cobble together some self-help quotes from my past life, like, "Utilize your fragmented time," and, "I reflect on myself 3 times a day." I spewed a bunch of nonsense, but as it turned out, the disciples in the audience were listening with great interest. Every one of them treated it as gospel, exclaiming how much they'd learned. From the audience, Zhang Xixuan watched me on the stage. Her heart was in turmoil. She had dual spiritual roots of metal and fire. Her family provided her with all their resources, and she trained bitterly day and night. Yet, she had only just reached the edge of the 5th level of qi refinement. I, on the other hand, had to farm 5 acres of spirit fields every day, and had somehow managed to break through before her. She thought it over and over. She could only assume that, for the sake of the outer sect trial in 1 month, I had deliberately chosen the fastest yellow rank technique to master. I was desperately rushing my cultivation level, trying to snatch a spot as an inner sect seed. But she had already learned from her family that the rules for this year's trial had changed. There would be no arena matches, instead, it would be real combat against spirit beasts in the wild. A yellow rank technique would be a huge disadvantage in actual combat. She shook her head. She was convinced that I was bound to fail this time and completely stopped paying me any mind. She turned her attention to plotting how to win over Qin Feng. The day after the conference ended, Steward Chen went to find the outer sect elder, Chen Tianyang, who was also his third uncle. Third uncle, this Lu Li might have poor spiritual roots, but his comprehension is excellent. I think he has potential. He's worth nurturing. Jian. I know you want to personally cultivate a few promising prospects, but don't be too hasty. This young man you speak of has mixed wood spiritual roots. Yes, third uncle. Although he, Jian. These wood spiritual roots are suitable for neither alchemy nor artifact refinement. He has no affinity with our Chen family. Then does he have any powerful master or lineage? I don't believe so. I checked. He is cultivating the yellow rank technique handed out by the sect branch. Then he has no value. Let's stick to the old way. First, arrange for the family disciples to receive focused training. Chen Tianyang made the final decision. Anyway, the outer sect trial is coming up. If he wants to receive additional resources and support, it will all depend on his own performance in the trial. He'll have to earn it himself. The fact that you aren't making things difficult for him is already a blessing for him. If he is truly blessed with good fortune, he will naturally seize the opportunity. At the same time, the story of how in just 6 months he had experienced successive epiphanies also spread to the other sect branches. It sparked a lot of discussion among the outer sect disciples. First, there's Zhaoan finding heavenly treasures every day, and now this Lu Li has had 2 epiphanies in half a year. When will it be my turn? Who do you guys think will enter the inner sect first? Zhaoan is already at the 6th level of qi refinement. His progress was all based on luck. His foundation is unstable. He'll probably get stuck for 3 to 5 years. The arena tournament is next month. Are you going to compete for an inner sect seed spot? Forget it. How could I be a match for those senior brothers? Go on and see for yourselves. Isn't that Lu Li from the second branch? He's really meditating in the spirit field. I had just finished casting the minor cloud and rain spell and was cultivating my energy under the willow tree by the spirit field. Ever since the exchange conference, my successive breakthroughs have become the talk of the outer sect. Every day, people would pass by, pointing and whispering about me. At first, I was uncomfortable with it. Later, I just pretended not to see them. After a few days, the novelty wore off for them. I could finally get back to my cultivation. Not long after, Steward Chen came to me and asked if I wanted to switch to a Zon rank cultivation technique. He said he could arrange it, but I refused without a second thought. Thank you for your concern, Steward. This disciple feels the technique I have is good enough. I won't trouble you. No one knew that the Hextech augment on me only works on Huang rank techniques. It doesn't even affect the basic breathing method. It takes a couple of hours to restore my mana using the basic technique, but with the Huang rank Qi nourishing breathing method, thanks to the Hextech, I can restore mana 10 times faster. That feeling is something I wouldn't trade even for an Earth rank technique. Steward Chen looked full of regret. He's a foundation establishment cultivator and knew there were changes to this year's trial. He wanted to do me a favor, but I was completely unyielding. He couldn't just reveal inside information, so he had to drop it. Over the next half a month or so, I consumed 2 bottles of Qi nourishing pills. I had already reached the threshold of the 6th level of Qi refining, just one step away from breaking through. But before I could break through, the sect suddenly dropped a bombshell. This year's outer sect trial would be completely reformed. All disciples must travel 100 li on foot to the Flying Rainbow Mountain Range within 3 days. Arriving late means direct disqualification. I was speechless on the spot. When they first brought me to the sect, we rode on a large flying ship. Now that I'm a cultivator, I have to rely on my own 2 legs to travel. 100 li isn't too difficult for Qi refining disciples, but there's no guarantee someone won't try something crooked along the way. Being disqualified for being late, this might just be the first hurdle the sect has deliberately set. Just as I was thinking it over, Zhang Xixuan suddenly came over and invited me to travel with her. She already had 4 people with her, including Qin Feng. There were also 2 cultivators at the 6th level of Qi refining. With a lineup like this, they had nothing to fear on the road. She was just making a polite, perfunctory invitation. She didn't expect me to agree on the spot. All right, her expression visibly stiffened for a moment, then she forced a smile. That's great, then. I hope the 5 of us can all make it into the top 10 this time. May our journey be smooth. By noon on the 3rd day, we had smoothly arrived at the gathering point on the outskirts of the Flying Rainbow Mountain Range. I found out later why this trial was so harsh. It was all because of the demonic calamity in the south. When Elder Sun was inspecting the grounds that Chen Tianyang had set up, he discovered the sect had actually placed a late-stage Qi refining ghost-faced spider there and immediately became anxious. But another elder said directly, it's already been approved by the higher-ups. Acceptable disciple casualties. The Reflecting Moon Immortal sect has already been crushed by demonic cultivators. In a few more years, the demonic calamity will reach our Li province. The sect is in a hurry to weed people out, even at the cost of lives, and give disciples real combat experience. The trial rules were announced soon after. Cross the spirit beast-infested Flying Rainbow Mountain Range within 7 days. Kill spirit beasts to retrieve the point jade tablets from their bellies. Anyone with fewer than 6 points or who fails to reach the destination on time will receive 1 demerit. Accumulate 3 demerits, and you'll be directly disqualified from advancing to the inner sect. The top 10 in points from each branch will directly become inner sect seeds. First place will be rewarded with any Zon rank magical art. Second and third place can choose from a designated list of Zon rank magical arts. 4th to 10th place can choose any Huang rank magical art. Steward Chen specifically reminded us, don't underestimate yellow rank spells. At the same cultivation level, someone who specializes in them can completely dominate someone who only knows the basics. Chen Tianyang beside me, after some thought, also chose to be a spellcaster, a practitioner on the path of immortality. Protective artifacts. I've memorized it all, taking advantage of the rest period, vine technique, water healing, fireball, earth shield. They look ordinary, but they can't handle my Hextech enhancements. I went to the training room to test it once before. A single full-power fireball spell burned a huge crater straight through the refined mystic iron tablet, which is supposed to withstand thousands of hits. I got so scared I just bolted. The disciple in charge of inspections couldn't believe a Qi refining disciple did that. He just assumed it was a faulty tablet. And that was the end of it. So for this trial, I'm fully aware of my own strength. In fact, I'm hoping it's a little more difficult. That way, I can pull ahead of the others. Our division isn't leaving until tomorrow. I got a good, sound sleep. When we gathered the next day, I noticed several of my junior brothers looked pale, like they hadn't slept at all. Senior brother Lu, how are you not nervous at all? I only slept for a few hours last night. Junior brother Lu, whose spirit field is next to mine, shuffled over. His voice was trembling. I heard, something happened to Division 1. My heart sank. Before I could ask for details, the summons came. Steward Chen gathered everyone, his face grim, and dropped a bombshell on us. This trial is life-threatening. Anyone who doesn't want to participate has 2 hours to come see me and withdraw. I won't lie to you. Yesterday, disciples from Division 1 entered the mountains. One disciple at the 5th level of chi refining was gravely injured. And another, a new disciple at the 4th level, ran into a ghost-faced spider. He has been confirmed dead. The crowd below instantly erupted. The weakest ghost-faced spiders are at the 7th level of chi refining. They can also spit webs to trap people and have virtually no weaknesses, except for fire. The sect must be crazy. I silently filed that information away. I really need to brush up on my cultivation world knowledge when I get back. Still, ghost-faced spiders are weak to fire. And I just happen to have a fireball spell. No need to panic. Before we left at noon, I went to the market stalls on the edge of the camp. I was hoping to pick up some protective talismans, but as soon as the news about the ghost-faced spiders got out, all the fire element talismans were snatched up. Even the light body talismans, which normally cost 1 spirit stone for 5, were now being sold for 1 spirit stone each. Talk about blatant price gouging. Just as I was gritting my teeth, ready to pay, a familiar voice came from behind me. Well, if it isn't Junior Brother Lu. I happen to have some spare light body talismans. Come with me, I'll give you a few. It was Chen Guangyu, a senior brother at the 6th level of chi refining who traveled with us. He's also Steward Chen's distant nephew. He pulled me into an empty corner and took out 6 light body talismans. He sold them to me for just 1 spirit stone. I thanked him. Just as I was about to leave, his tone shifted. I heard from my uncle that you're a real talent, Junior Brother. You'll have no problem passing the trial. I have a business proposal for you. Interested, Junior Brother? He held up 3 fingers. Any extra point tokens you get from this trial, for every single point, I'll pay 3 spirit stones. I'll buy as many as you can get. I got it right away. The tokens are anonymous. Whoever holds them, gets the points. He's trying to collect points to get first place. And get the profound rank spell reward. I never planned to fight for the top 3 anyway. After all, 1 jade tablet is worth 3 spirit stones, which is much more profitable than the small allowance from the rankings. I agreed on the spot and even specifically asked, Senior Brother, are you sure you'll buy as many as I bring? When I bring them over, you can't go back on your word. Chen Guangyu couldn't stop laughing and readily agreed. He probably thought I was just some sheltered, 5th level chi refinement junior who couldn't get many points. At noon, the disciples of our branch gathered and set out. That morning, 4 or 5 junior brothers had already withdrawn from the trial, drawing lots for the small paths into the mountain. The sect didn't forbid teaming up, but everyone knew. If there were too many people, the spirit beasts wouldn't dare show themselves, and no one would get any points in the end. So, more than half of the people chose to go alone, and the rest formed groups of 2 at most. The flying Rainbow Mountain range was filled with miasma, obstructing our vision. You couldn't see anything clearly beyond 100 zhong, and those in the chi refinement stage can't use their spiritual sense. Everyone had to slow down and move forward cautiously. Not long after entering the mountain, I ran into a junior brother Zhang who was running back. His thigh was wounded, and his face was deathly pale. When he saw me, he quickly warned, Senior Brother Lu. There's a dual-tailed scorpion by the creek ahead. One of its tails can break the golden light spell, and the other can get around a defensive shield. I almost died there. Whatever you do, don't go that way. I thanked him for the warning. I prepared the hand seal for the golden light spell and held a light body talisman in my hand. Fully prepared, I was originally planning to take a detour. But as soon as I got near the grass beside me, 2 whistling sounds came straight for my temples. It was that dual-tailed scorpion. It had been hiding in ambush in the grass. I subconsciously activated the golden light spell. A thick golden light instantly covered my body. With 2 sharp clangs, the scorpion's tail slammed viciously against the golden light. But they didn't even break my defense. At the same time, I activated the light body talisman. Using the momentum, I retreated rapidly to create distance and launched a fireball spell with the raise of my hand. A fist-sized fireball shot out, piercing straight through the dual-tailed scorpion from its left side to its right. It hit a rock in the distance and exploded in a shower of sparks. I retreated another 2 zhong. I was getting ready for a second attack, but then I saw that 5th level chi refinement dual-tailed scorpion standing there, completely stiff and motionless. When the wind blew, the burnt smell of cooked meat wafted over. It was dead, a one-shot kill. It was only then that I fully understood my hex deck augment, and just how absurd it was. An ordinary 5th level chi refinement disciple would have trouble piercing a spirit beast's carapace even with a flying sword. But with just 1 basic fireball spell, I pierced it straight through the heart. I took the point tablet from the scorpion's corpse. The number, 5, was clearly written on it. 1 point is worth 3 spirit stones. This isn't a trial, this is clearly a money-making venture. For the next 5 days, I basically became a spirit beast reaping machine. Relying on the 10 times mana recovery speed from my hex deck augment, I didn't need to conserve my blue at all. I kept the golden light spell active the entire time, and whenever I saw a spirit beast, I'd just launch a fireball spell. I didn't care if it was 5th level or 6th level chi refinement. They all went down in 1 hit. The drugged spirit beasts were certainly fierce, but they couldn't handle my overwhelming advantage. They didn't even have a chance to fight back. I completely wiped out all the spirit beasts along the way. The point jade talismans and spirit beast materials. I used fox pelts to wrap them into 2 large bundles. They were stuffed to the brim. I just wish I were an inner sect disciple. I don't have a storage pouch. While I was having a blast racking up kills, was making things miserable for the other disciples. Qin Feng had been in the mountains for 5 days. He found 6 spirit beasts in a row, all of them killed in a single blow. Even the 6th level chi refining spike-haired bear was no exception. He searched the entire scene. He couldn't find a single trace of a struggle. That spike-haired bear didn't even have time to raise its spikes. It died on the spot. Qin Feng completely lost his composure. He was convinced that an elder from the 5 great immortal clans had secretly entered the mountains to cause trouble, but he never would have guessed that it was all done by me, an insignificant 5th level chi refining disciple. And it wasn't just him. The direct disciples of the 5 great immortal clans all ran into the same situation. Each one thought their rivals were playing tricks and grew wary of each other. Just as I finished searching a cave and was about to press on, I heard the sounds of a fight coming from the foot of the mountain. I went over a small hill, and I happened to see a girl in pink, using a flying sword to beat a 6th level chi refining pangolin to within an inch of its life. That pangolin was about to breathe its last, so I raised my hand and shot a fireball. A precise finishing blow, and I took the kill for myself. Hey, who are you? I discovered this spirit beast first. A clear female voice rang out. Hearing the voice, I looked up and saw a young girl dressed in a pink gauze skirt. She was holding a glittering golden flying sword and was walking toward me. Her almond-shaped eyes were very bright, looking me up and down. I noticed that beneath the light gauze of her top, I could vaguely see the intricate embroidery on the inner lining, made with gold and silver threads. It depicted a scene of a carp leaping among lotus flowers. Thanks to the wearer's generous bosom, the pattern looked exceptionally vivid and lifelike. As a disciple of the Li Huo sect, I recognized it at a glance. That was the symbol of the Su family, one of the 5 great immortal clans. I raised my hands in a salute and spoke to the girl before me. Greetings, junior sister Su. I am Lu Li from the 2nd branch. Please, don't misunderstand. I didn't mean to steal your spirit beast. I was just passing by. I have no need for this one spirit beast. I have so many point jade talismans on me I can barely carry them. It's not worth offending this young lady of the Su family for a few measly points. Besides, judging by the pangolin's injuries and the broken trees around, it was clear she attacked first. It's better to just let her have this prey. Junior sister. Su Wanqing's pretty eyebrows raised. What's your cultivation level? And who are you to call me, junior sister? I was taken aback. For the outer sect disciples in this trial, the highest cultivation level was only the 6th level of chi refining, which is exactly where Su Wanqing was. But lately, killing 6th level chi refining spirit beasts has been like killing chickens for me, so I'd long stopped taking this level seriously. I had subconsciously called her junior sister just now. It was indeed impolite. Ahem, my apologies. Senior sister Su, I haven't seen anyone for several days. I misspoke for a moment, so I immediately corrected myself. I cupped my hands to bid farewell again. Since senior sister encountered this pangolin first, then it is your prey. I was just passing by. I had no intention of fighting you for it. I wish you the best of luck, senior sister. I'll be on my way now. Hearing this, Su Wanqing stepped aside to let me pass. In the instant our paths crossed, her eyes clearly saw the 2 bulging sacs on my back. Sticking out from one was the pelt of a 6th layer chi refining fox. Adding to that the crisp clinking of jade tokens in my bag as I walked, she instantly realized I was that ruthless person who had slaughtered all the spirit beasts in the mountain range. Wait a minute, don't go just yet. I had only taken 2 steps when she called me to a halt. By the time I turned around, she had already finished examining the pangolin's wound, her eyes filled with utter shock. The mark from the fireball spell that had pierced through the pangolin, even without her having weakened it beforehand. It would have been enough to kill this spirit beast in a single strike. She understood in an instant. I wasn't the good-for-nothing from the reports who got lucky with an epiphany, but a master who was hiding his true strength. The next second, she came up to me with quick, delicate steps. A sweet smile instantly plastered itself on her face. Ahem, senior brother Lu. I was just joking earlier. This pangolin was killed by you, senior brother. So, of course, it's your prey. It seems like it's almost noon, doesn't it? Senior brother, are you hungry? As she spoke, she took a wooden box out of her storage pouch and insisted on having lunch with me. I was completely dumbfounded. It wasn't even 10 o'clock yet. There was still a whole hour until noon. Besides, we didn't know each other at all. Her smile was so sly, it was obvious she was up to no good. I'm not really hungry. You go ahead and eat, senior sister. I have other things to do. So I'll be leaving now. I politely refused, and I turned to leave. But with a single leap, she rushed in front of me and blocked my path with her arms outstretched. Wait a minute, I still have something to say to you. I've heard about you from Instructor Wu. You entered the sect 2 years before me, but you've been stuck at the 1st layer of chi refining all this time. Senior brother Lu Li, right? Since she had recognized me, I couldn't just walk away anymore. That's right, it's just that I'm only at the 5th layer of chi refining now. Senior sister Su, please stop joking with me. I first pointed out the gap in our cultivation levels, positioning myself as the weaker one. I already told you, what I said before was just a joke. Don't mind it, senior brother. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Su Wanqing, from the Su family of Jade Lotus Lake. I'm temporarily assigned to the 4th division. I glanced at the 2 characters for Wanqing embroidered on her chest. I nodded and asked in return, Senior Sister Sue, are you interested in my jade tokens? No, I'm interested in you. As soon as the words left her mouth, she quickly added, what I mean is, I'm interested in the methods senior brother Lu used to hunt so many spirit beasts in such a short time. I'm very interested. Would it be convenient for you to tell me how you did it? It's not. I refused outright and turned to leave. She reached out and grabbed my sleeve, her eyes sparkling. Senior brother Lu, don't go just yet. I want to show you something. I guarantee you'll be interested. I can even give you a live demonstration right now. Before I could object, she pulled a cloak from her storage bag. Smiling, she held it up in front of me. Ta-da, an invisibility cloak. As long as you wear it, any cultivator below the foundation establishment stage will never be able to see through your identity. Even if you run into a foundation establishment cultivator's spiritual sense probe, the warning runes on it will alert you immediately. As soon as she finished speaking, she unfolded the cloak, covered herself, and instantly gave off a completely different fluctuation of magical power. Even her voice changed to that of an unfamiliar young man. She was like a completely different person. This thing is amazing. It's an essential tool for making a name for yourself and getting rich. I was sold on the spot. What's the deal? I'm listening, but let's get one thing straight first. You can't ask me again how I was able to kill the spirit beast. No problem. She took off the cloak, her face breaking into a brilliant smile. What I'm asking is very simple for you, senior brother. First, I need you to sell me some of your jade tablets. Help me get a higher rank. Our two branches are ranked separately anyway, so there's no competition between us. Second, once you join the inner sect, you have to support my bid to become this generation's chief disciple. I had to laugh. It doesn't matter who I sell the tablets to. As for being the chief disciple, that's just an empty title. I have no interest in fighting for it. No problem. Then it's settled. You keep my secret. And I'll support you for chief disciple in the future. Su Wanqing instantly breathed a sigh of relief. Smiling, she held out her hand. A deal's a deal. I raised my hand and high-fived her. A deal's a deal. To be safe, we each made a Dao Heart Oath. Then, we happily completed the transaction. She got enough point tablets and a powerful ally in me for the future. I got a huge sum of spirit stones and this top-grade invisibility cloak. We both felt like we'd made a killing. It was a win-win. We both won big. I refined the cloak right then and there. I put it on and transformed in an instant. My appearance, my aura, my voice. Everything changed. Even if I ran into Su Wanqing again, she wouldn't recognize me. This was perfect. I could completely hide my identity and sell off all the extra points I had. I could sell them all. After that, I put on the cloak and started heading forward, looking for other disciples to trade with. I hadn't gone far when I found an extinguished campfire and some footprints by a mountain spring. I followed the footprints and saw a head peeking out from the grass. A senior brother was meditating with his eyes closed. Greetings, senior brother. For certain reasons, I must keep my face covered. I hope you can forgive me for that, I said, taking the initiative. I'd like to make a trade with you for some points. As I spoke, I pulled out a handful of jade tablets. But the senior brother across from me, his eyes went wide. His face was flushed red and he was making muffled whimpering sounds. He was desperately trying to signal me with his eyes. Something wasn't right. I immediately cast the golden light technique to protect myself and cautiously took 2 steps back. I scanned the area and deliberately shouted out. So, it's you. Come on out. It was dead silent all around. No one came out. Only that senior brother was still frantically shaking his head and whimpering. That's when I realized, this guy had been immobilized. But where there's something strange, there's bound to be a demon. I kept the golden light active and continued to approach him step by step. Just as I got within 10 feet of him, something suddenly happened. The senior brother before me suddenly opened a massive mouth, and a long, sharp proboscis struck viciously against my golden light shield. It was just half an inch from piercing my throat. It's a ghost-faced spider. To think this thing could disguise itself as a cultivator, it completely fooled me. This ghost-faced spider had the power of a 7th level chi refinement cultivator, and its carapace was absurdly tough. It actually withstood my fireball spell, triggering the spell's secondary explosion. But it didn't expect my mana to circulate 10 times faster than an ordinary cultivator's. My attack speed was a full 3 times faster. Before it could even spit its web, my next fireball had already flown precisely into its mouth and exploded. Immediately followed by a third fireball, which directly burned its head to ashes. In less than 10 breaths, this ghost-faced spider, which could easily hunt a 6th level chi refinement cultivator, was completely killed by me. I cut open its stomach. First, I found a heavy golden inner core, and then I found a pile of point-tallying jade tokens and a corroded, standard-issue flying sword. There was also an undamaged, glowing jade box. I used a water spell to wash it clean. I infused it with my mana to open it. Inside, to my surprise, was a top-grade, first-tier pill, a Unity Origin pill. A single one of these costs 10 spirit stones and can help a cultivator break through to the next realm. I'd been casting spells at high intensity for the past few days, so my mana had already improved significantly. With this Unity Origin pill, I was 99% sure I could break through directly to the 6th level of chi refinement. I carefully put everything away, threw on my cloak, and continued my journey. Finally, at noon on the 7th day, I reached the valley exit at the northern end of the mountain range. The mouth of the valley was occupied by a few familiar faces from the second branch. I was wearing my cloak, so they didn't recognize me at all. As I walked past, someone reached out an arm to stop me. "What is it? Do you need something?" I asked. A senior brother next to him quickly pulled back the junior brother who was about to tell me off. He smiled and offered me a wine gourd. "Senior brother, you must be tired from your journey. Please, have some rice wine to quench your thirst." I shook my head and pulled out a handful of jade tokens. "I'll pass on the wine. But I do have a business proposal if you junior brothers are interested. 1 point for 3 spirit stones. As long as you're willing. All these points can be yours." The group of them were stunned right then and there. Staring at the jade tokens in my hand, they didn't even dare to breathe. In the end, the 5 of them pooled their spirit stones and only dared to buy a single 5-point token from me. The way they did it, it was as if they were paying me a toll to pass. After I left the valley, I took off my cloak around a corner. I headed straight for the pre-arranged stall outside the camp and found Chen Guangyu, who was waiting to collect the points. His stall only had a few absurdly expensive talismans on display. It was clearly just for appearances. He was just waiting to collect my points. I thought for a moment. I took out the remaining 72 points worth, put them in a bag and went over. "Senior brother Chen, I'm here. Take a look at these materials and see if you want them." "Oh, it's you, junior brother Lu. Let me see." Chen Guangyu took the bag. His hand sank with the weight, and his brow furrowed instantly. When he opened the bag and saw the jade tokens inside, he completely lost his composure. He let out a string of curses under his breath. Noticing people looking over, he quickly tried to smooth things over. "This fox pelt is pretty nice, haha. It is nice. So, senior brother Chen, are you still buying the materials in here?" "Ah, well. Just a moment, junior brother. Let me check them." "Just a moment." Chen Guangyu quickly lowered his head to count. Inside the bag was a full 72 points worth, valued at 216 spirit stones. His eyes went wide. He'd had the worst luck during this trial. He himself had only managed to get 14 points, and had only bought back 40 points at his stall. He hadn't even been close to making the top 3. But this bag of jade tokens of mine completely filled the gap in his points. But then, an idea struck him. He started to get some crooked ideas. "Your luck was really good this time, running into so many spirit beasts. But, I don't have that many spirit stones on me. How about this? How about I just buy 50 points worth from you?" I raised an eyebrow. "Senior brother, didn't you say you'd buy however many I had?" "Hey. Of course I keep my word. It's just, I'm really short on funds at the moment. If you're willing, junior brother, for the remaining spirit stones, I can give you an IOU. What do you say?" I almost had to laugh. For this kind of shady business, it's always cash on delivery. If I actually took an IOU from Chen Guangyu, it would be no different than taking a piece of waste paper. If he decided to renege on it, I couldn't just show up at the Chen family's door to collect the debt. And if it got escalated to the sect's higher-ups, I wouldn't even dare tell the truth. I'd probably get sent to the back mountain for 10 years of solitary confinement. That won't be necessary, since you only brought enough spirit stones for 50 points. We'll just make it a deal for 50 points. The words had barely left my mouth when Chen Guangyu immediately pulled out 150 spirit stones and handed them over. "Here you go, junior brother Lu. Count them. I've checked, the amount is correct." I took back the jade tokens worth 22 points, cupped my hands in farewell, and left. Right after that, I found a deserted corner, put on my cloak, and circled back. I knew perfectly well that Chen Guangyu wasn't the only one looking to buy jade tokens. Holding my remaining tokens, I specifically targeted the secluded stalls of well-dressed, mid-stage chi refinement disciples who were all fellow participants from the trial. They were the ones most likely to be short on points. After making a round like that, I had sold off another 46 points piecemeal. This activity soon attracted the attention of Song Zhongming, the eldest son of the 11th branch of the Song family. He'd had terrible luck during this trial, only scraping together 20 points. He was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan, terrified of being the only one of the 7 6th level chi refinement disciples from the second courtyard to not make the top 10. The shame would be unbearable. And that's when he happened to spot me, selling jade tokens under a cloak. Seeing me pull them out one after another, he immediately got an idea. I had just finished selling a batch and was about to find a new spot. That's when I saw this luxuriously dressed young master walk right up to me. "Senior brother, do you have any points left?" "Yes. How many do you need?" "I need a lot. A whole lot, senior brother." "Let's talk in private." Song Zhongming glanced around. He pulled me into a deserted grove of trees and right away, he wanted to buy out my entire stock. "Senior brother, I'm Song Zhongming of the Song family. The remaining point jade tokens you have. I want them all." I shook the bag in my hand, letting him hear the clinking of the jade tokens inside, and directly stated my price. "Junior brother Song, I've got plenty of points. 3 spirit stones for 1 point. And I have more than enough." Song Zhongming was initially stunned by the sound. Then it dawned on him that it must have been my group that cleared out all the spirit beasts, which was why he only managed to get 20 points. But he couldn't be bothered with that now. Getting the points was what mattered. He pulled out 3 mid-grade spirit stones, slapped them in my hand, and said, "I want 100 points." Now it was my turn to be genuinely impressed. 1 mid-grade spirit stone is worth 100 low-grade ones. You usually have to pay extra just to exchange them. This guy was the real deal. I immediately counted out 100 points worth of jade tokens. I even threw in 2 extra points. Junior brother Song, you're a man of action. Consider the extra ones a gift. After we finished the deal, I watched him leave, feeling absolutely thrilled. After that transaction, I only had 74 points left for myself. Then, I went straight to the encampment and slipped 2 spirit stones to the inner sect senior brother in charge of registration. I got the current standings. First place was Zhang Xixuan with 113 points, and 8th place had 56 points. 10th place only had 39 points. Originally, 56 points would have been enough to secure a top spot. Once Chen Guangyu and Song Zhongming submitted their points, at most, I would get pushed down to 10th. But just to be safe, I left a little margin for error. I decided to submit 65 points, which was more than enough to secure a high rank. The remaining 9 points could be sold for another profit. I waited until 1 hour before the end of the trial, and only after confirming nothing unexpected happened did I go in and submit my 65 points. Early the next morning, I threw on a cloak and sold off the last 9 points completely. For this trial, I relied on my hex deck augments. All the profits went into my fox skin pouch. With the money secured, I put all my focus into my cultivation. Back at the camp, it was safe. I immediately swallowed a He Yuan pill. It was a top-grade, first-tier pill, after all. The moment I took it, its medicinal power transformed into pure spiritual energy, and even my dantian began to swell. I circulated my cultivation technique for just 3 major cycles, and I smoothly broke through to the 6th level of qi refining. The leftover medicinal power even helped me completely stabilize my new realm. In the blink of an eye, it was the day the rankings were announced. The top 3 for this trial were Song Zhongming, Liu Benqin, and Zhang Xixuan. By planning ahead, I easily secured 9th place. It was only then that I found out that Liu Benqin, my neighbor who grew spirit fields with me, was actually a member of the Liu clan of the Plains, who possess a unique heritage in spirit plant cultivation. As for Chen Guangyu, who spent a fortune buying points, he got pushed straight to 4th place. He agonizingly missed out on the Zon-grade magical art, and his face instantly turned as black as the bottom of a pot. The top 10 this time completely shattered the worldview of everyone in the second branch. Aside from the 7 senior brothers at the 6th level of qi refining, the other 3 were Liu Benqin, Zhang Xixuan, and me. And then there was me, someone who was only at the 5th layer of qi refining and had no family background before the competition. Instructor Wu used me as an example every single day. On top of that, I had already broken through several realms in a row, so I was already a little famous in the second branch. Now, I instantly became the center of attention, with everyone staring at me. They all wanted to know how I did it. Manager Chen quieted the discussion. He began to distribute the rewards. After the Zon rank spells for the top 3 were handed out, it was our turn to choose from 5 Huang rank spells. The other disciples, especially those from prominent families, didn't even blink before choosing the 3-star synergy art, which increases one's affinity with magical artifacts. Even the junior disciple ranked 10th followed suit. But I didn't go with the flow. I have a cloak, so I'm not short on ways to conceal my aura. With my hex deck enhancements, my offense and defense are good enough. The only thing I lacked was a detection skill. That stargazing and aura observation art, which could estimate the strength of others, was the most suitable for me at the moment. So, in front of everyone, I picked up the stargazing and aura observation art, becoming the only person there who didn't choose the 3-star synergy art. With that, everyone's gaze was instantly fixed on me. Some thought I was being antisocial, while others started making wild guesses, thinking I had a hidden background or possessed a powerful magical artifact. Some even thought I was just putting on an act. Zhang Xixuan, however, still believed I was just lucky. She figured my luck wouldn't last. Liu Benqin, on the other hand, admired me from the bottom of his heart, thinking that my half-year of relentless training meant I deserved everything I had achieved. Meanwhile, when Su Wanqing found out I only took 9th place and turned in just 65 points, she was completely stunned. She had seen my massive bag of points with her own eyes. She had been certain I'd take 1st place, but instead, I had passed up a Zon rank spell. After thinking it over, she concluded that I must have looked down on the Zon rank spell, believing I had access to a superior inheritance. She immediately sent people to keep an eye on me, betting that I would break through to the 6th layer of qi refining within 1 month. 3 days later, we hurried back to the Lihuo sect. On the second day back, Manager Chen organized a meeting to share our experiences from the trial. He had just opened the floor for questions, when a certain junior brother Li abruptly stood up, stared right at me and confronted me. I'd like to ask junior brother Liu to explain how he managed to kill so many spirit beasts at the 6th layer of qi refining. He's clearly only at the 5th layer of qi refining, yet he turned in several jade tokens from 6th layer spirit beasts. As soon as he said that, the murmurs of doubt throughout the hall could no longer be contained. Manager Chen turned to look at me as well, calling on me to share my experience. I stood up and first directed the aura of a 6th layer qi refining cultivator toward that junior brother Li. Then I spoke calmly. First, let me correct you. You should be calling me senior brother now. The entire room instantly erupted. Even Manager Chen was stunned. He immediately released his divine sense to check, confirming that I had indeed reached the 6th layer of chi refining. He was both shocked and angry. How reckless. Haven't I told you to find a safe place when you're attempting a breakthrough? It's good that you succeeded, but this is a very bad habit to get into. Go back and copy the sect's disciple rules. Turn it in the day after tomorrow. After he finished scolding me, he then realized something wasn't right. He stared at me blankly for a long moment. Below, the other disciples had already erupted into a flurry of whispers. People are called geniuses if they reach the 6th layer of chi refining in 3 years. It's only been half a year since I joined the sect, and I've already shot up from the 1st layer of chi refining to the 6th. It's just absurd. Manager Chen couldn't help but ask, don't tell me, you had another epiphany, did you? I nodded without batting an eye. Yes, while I was fighting spirit beasts in the mountain range, I suddenly had some new insights. The moment I said that, the whole place erupted into a clamor. An enlightenment that others might not experience once in their entire lives. And I've had it 3 times in 1 year. Is there any justice in this world? The way Steward Chen looked at me completely changed. This wasn't some ordinary disciple, this was a guaranteed candidate for foundation establishment. Meanwhile, Shen Guangyu, who held a grudge against me for hiding my points and costing him a top 3 spot, saw me break through to the 6th level of chi refining. He was completely stunned. He had been planning to find a chance to get back at me. But then he saw both Song Zhongming and Liu Benqin taking an interest in me and instantly lost his nerve. He turned his attention back to figuring out the marriage alliance with Zhang Xixuan. But what he didn't know was, Zhang Xixuan was currently staring at the ground in a daze. She had always believed I was getting by on pure luck. But now that I'd rushed to the 6th level of chi refining in just 6 months, she was doubting her own judgment for the very first time. She was completely bewildered. Steward Chen coughed twice to quiet everyone down. He announced the meeting was over but asked me, Lu Li, to stay behind. You, come with me. I followed him through a series of twists and turns. He arrived at a small garden on the side of the mountain, in front of a bamboo house. He told me to wait a moment while he went inside to find his 3rd uncle, the outer sect elder, Shen Tianyang. He came out smiling shortly after and told me to go in. I followed him into the room and saw Elder Chen sitting there. In front of him was an artifact for testing spirit roots. The moment he saw me, he greeted me, you must be Lu Li. Come, grip this bead tightly. I obediently reached out and gripped it. A pale green light began to glow. The light from the other colors was so faint it was almost invisible. It really is a low-grade wood spirit root. After Elder Chen finished the test himself, his face was filled with amazement. Back in the day, Zhaoan got lucky and found a vivid ginseng, breaking through to the 6th level of chi refining in 6 months. I thought no one would ever break that record. I never imagined you'd be even faster than him. The younger generation is truly to be feared. I quickly clasped my hands and said, this disciple was just a little lucky. It was just a fluke. Elder Chen shook his head. A fluke? I'd say this is more than just a fluke. In the world of cultivation, there is a concept known as fortune. Some people are born blessed by the heavens and are called children of destiny. While you may not be a child of destiny, you are still blessed with great fortune. If you use it well, there's a good chance you'll reach the foundation establishment stage in the future. I breathed a sigh of relief. I thought my hex deck had been discovered. So that's what he was talking about. Listening from the side, Steward Chen's eyes lit up. In Li Prefecture, anyone who can reach the foundation establishment stage is a renowned master cultivator. This was an incredible piece of good news. Elder Chen had been observing my expression the entire time. Seeing that I remained calm even after hearing I had a chance at foundation establishment, he was even more pleased. You'll inevitably have to go out on sect missions in the future. This golden light bead, I'll give it to you in advance. It should prove helpful to you then. Steward Chen quickly gave me a look, and I hurriedly thanked the elder and accepted it. He then instructed me, this bead must be nourished with your own chi. Only by keeping it on you at all times will you be able to use it proficiently. And then, Elder Chen took out a purple peach blossom. You've had continuous breakthroughs in 6 months, so your aura is bound to be unstable. This purple peach blossom can solidify your core and replenish your essence. It's perfect for you to consolidate your foundation. After you consume it, immediately circulate your cultivation technique to disperse its medicinal properties. You'd best set aside a full 2 hours to cultivate. Don't let it go to waste. I accepted it with both hands. I thanked him again. Elder Chen nodded, satisfied. He again urged me to guard against arrogance and impatience and told me the stories of 2 outstanding sect members, Zhang Kengong and Song Zhongwen, model. I will use them as my role models to enter the inner sect as soon as possible. I agreed to everything, respectfully replying, this disciple understands. From now on, I will surely follow the example of these 2 senior brothers and strive to enter the inner sect as soon as possible. Hearing this, Elder Chen's smile grew even warmer. When you broke through to the 5th level of chi refining, Jian mentioned you to me. Even back then, I told him that I saw great potential in your future. And now, it has proven true. Beside him, Steward Chen's eyes went wide. Is that what you said back then? You clearly said he had no potential worth nurturing. But he still had to play along. Yes, that's right, third uncle saw your potential even back then. You must cultivate diligently from now on. Don't disappoint third uncle's expectations for you. I immediately bowed and declared, this disciple will certainly be strict with himself and focus on his training. And strive to break through to the late stage of chi refining soon. After a bit more small talk, Steward Jen led me away to take my leave. As soon as we were out of the garden, he raised his hand, took out a small jade bottle, and pressed it into mine. I don't have much on me to give you, so take this bottle of chi gathering pills. Chi gathering pills are twice as effective as chi nurturing pills, a truly excellent aid for cultivation. I was about to thank him, but he cut me off with a wave of his hand. Don't stand on ceremony with me. Just remember the elder's advice. I have some business to attend to nearby. You can head back on your own. I watched him go up towards the sect's summit, before turning back towards my quarters in the 2nd Division. Over the past half month, before and after the trial, my net worth had multiplied several dozen times. My robes were stuffed to the brim. I finally had a moment to take stock of it all. Besides the spirit stones, there was the suspected inner core from the trial, the storage box, the invisibility cloak, the stargazing and chi observing technique, plus the golden light pearl, purple peach blossom, and chi gathering pills I just got. It was almost enough to burst the seams of my clothes. Right now, all I want is to get promoted to the inner sect as fast as possible. So I can get a storage pouch from the sect and not have to be so clumsy anymore. With the help of the purple peach blossom and the chi gathering pills, entering the inner sect shouldn't be too far off. But for now, there's one top priority I must figure out. Whether this little golden sphere is a genuine spirit beast inner core. If this thing is the real deal, it could help me break through to the late stage of chi refining. Or even help me reach foundation establishment in the future. It would be a life-changing, heaven-defying treasure. It would undoubtedly be my most valuable reward from the trial, bar none. But outer sect disciples aren't allowed into the main scripture pavilion on the main peak to look up such classified information. Luckily, I've spent 3 years feeling my way around the sect. So I discovered a loophole long ago. The miscellaneous section on the first floor of the scripture pavilion is where they keep all sorts of biographies, travelogues, and storybooks. It's open to all disciples, free of charge, and while the information in them might be inaccurate or outdated, it's still a good place to hunt for clues. For the next 3 days, I dove headfirst into the miscellaneous section, scouring every book that even mentioned inner cores. Finally, on the 4th day, in a storybook titled, A Journey to Chenzhou, I found the critical clue I was looking for. The book said that a spirit beast that hasn't reached the foundation establishment realm has a minuscule chance of its bloodline reverting to an ancestral state when provoked, causing it to form an inner core prematurely. These cores can be flawed or incomplete. But if it's a perfect, genuine inner core, its value can far surpass that of an ordinary foundation establishment spirit beast's core. 98% of the spirit beasts that awaken one can grow into golden core great demons. And what a coincidence. The book also detailed a little-known technique for identifying a genuine inner core. I memorized the method on the spot until I knew it backwards and forwards. Then I immediately rushed to the marketplace to buy the materials I needed for the test. But as soon as I got to the marketplace, I realized something was off. On the normally bustling streets, a third of the shops were now closed in broad daylight. And the rest were doing terrible business. I found a small stall selling fire orchid pistols. The vendor immediately asked for 10 spirit stones a tael, which was a full 10 times last year's price. I thought, why don't you just go rob someone, and turned to leave, completely dejected. The vendor looked aggrieved and said shipments have been reduced for 7 straight months. The marketplace is out of stock everywhere. I was skeptical. I walked a lap around the market before I finally pieced together the truth from the idle chatter of passers-by. Chenzhou's major righteous sect, the Yingyue Immortal Sect, had been crushed by the demonic Shenhuo cult. Over 90% of Chenzhou's territory had fallen. Trade routes were cut off, and even we here in Lizhou were affected by it. Fire orchid pistols are essential for testing inner cores. No matter how expensive, I had to buy them. After circling back to the stall, I started haggling directly. 7 spirit stones a tael. I'll take all the stock you have. The freshness of these pistols is what makes them valuable. If you hold on to them for 2 months, their value will be cut in half. You might not be able to sell them all for ages. The vendor gritted his teeth, and finally compromised. For this 1 jin and 2 taels of pistols, it cost me 84 spirit stones. Adding in the other common materials, I sank a total of 133 spirit stones into this, which is more than 3.5 years of my salary. I really went all out this time. Back at my place, I followed the method from the storybook and ground all the ingredients into a powder. I put it in a small jar, mix it with spirit spring water, and then place the small golden orb inside. At fixed intervals, I stimulated it 3 times in a row with my spiritual power. First, the small orb just sank to the bottom, completely still. The next second, it suddenly released an aura that only a foundation establishment level demonic beast should have. Immediately after, it began to frantically absorb the surrounding fire attribute spiritual energy, and the surface of the water instantly boiled. The small orb flew directly into the air, emitting a blinding red light. The storybook stated clearly that a defective inner core can only absorb 3 taels of fire orchid. A semi-finished one can absorb 6 taels, while a complete one can absorb more than a jin. As I watched the entire gin of pistol powder in the jar get absorbed completely, the red light bathed the whole room in its glow. My mind buzzed. It's real. A complete, genuine inner core. I've hit the jackpot. But the euphoria lasted only for a moment. I calmed down instantly. A genuine inner core is priceless. If word of this gets out, it will surely lead to my death. I must guard this secret with my life. I immediately took out a storage box and sealed the inner core up tightly inside. Unless I'm breaking through to the late stage of chi refining or aiming for foundation establishment, I will absolutely not open it. Just as I finished cleaning up all traces of the test and calmed my racing heart, I remembered the purple peach blossom in my pocket. I was just about to consume it when suddenly, there was a knock on the door. It was followed by a sweet female voice. Senior brother Lu, are you free tonight? I came to treat you to dinner. It was Su Wanqing. Why is she here? I thought, opening the door just a crack. With a wary look, I asked, Junior sister Su, what is it? Senior brother, come on. I've ordered the signature dishes from the Ziyu restaurant. I'm taking you out for a nice meal. No, thanks. I still have things to do. You should go by yourself. My gut told me this girl was up to no good. Better to stay away. Don't be in such a hurry to refuse. Besides, I prepared a gift for you, senior brother. I guarantee you'll be interested. She smiled with complete confidence. And to think I went out of my way to get some green wood spirit liquid for my senior brother. Now it looks like I'll just have to take it back to water the flowers. Green wood spirit liquid. This stuff is incredibly useful for my current cultivation. I changed my mind on the spot. I followed her to the white jade pavilion. Inside the private room, beside Su Wanqing, there was a young man in a blue vest, who was exuding the aura of the 8th level of chi refinement. He had a water element flying sword at his waist. It was her second brother, Su Yuanping. From the moment I walked in, he didn't even look up, just toyed with the agate beads in his hand. He opened his mouth. You look pretty ordinary. Not some pretty boy. So how did you trick my younger sister out of her magical weapon? Before the words even left his mouth, he immediately used a secret technique, suppressing his cultivation to the 6th level of chi refinement. He wanted to fight me. The result was no surprise. I defeated him with a single fireball spell. I insisted it was just the most ordinary fireball spell, but Su Wanqing's eyes lit up. From her perspective, being able to use an ordinary fireball spell with such overwhelming power meant it had to be a legendary heaven grade technique. She had originally thought I only had an earth grade legacy, but never expected it to be heaven grade. The way she looked at me, her eyes were glowing. Su Yuanping's eye was twitching as he watched from the side. But he accepted his defeat. He was a man who could take a loss. Instead of acting tough based on his high cultivation and background, he walked right over and gave me a deep bow. He apologized sincerely. Junior brother Lu, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I take back the offensive things I said before. Please forgive my recklessness. As he spoke, he presented 3 items with both hands. A glass vial with green wood spirit liquid, a cultivation technique manual, and a bottle of chi gathering pills. They were all peace offerings. I wasn't about to be modest with him. I reached out and took them all. It's alright. In that case, I won't be polite. Su Wanqing also handed me the portion of green wood spirit liquid she had prepared, and I took that as well. After I thanked them, Su Yuanping insisted on drinking with me as an apology. Su Wanqing chimed in to support him, so I couldn't refuse. During the meal, Su Wanqing brought out a special pot of spirit wine called Bone Tempering Spring. She said it could replenish one's chi and blood and strengthen the body. It went down smooth and didn't taste much like alcohol. I didn't think much of it and had a couple more cups. Who knew the wine would have such a kick? After more than half the pot, I completely blacked out. I only remember walking back to my residence. I forgot everything after that. At noon the next day, I was woken up by the sun. My whole body ached as if I'd been run over. I couldn't even move. I lay in bed for a solid hour before I could barely get up. I was so hungry my stomach felt empty. I grabbed the food box by my bed that Su Wanqing had insisted I take back. I wolfed down 8 flatbreads in one go. Only then, at the very bottom of the box, did I find a small note she had left. The note said, the bone tempering spring not only tempers the body, but it also has a hidden effect. It mends a cultivator's meridians. This greatly increases the success rate of breaking through to the late stage of chi refinement. I originally planned to trade it with you. But this time, consider it an apology gift. I immediately circulated my chi nourishing breathing technique on the spot. Sure enough, I found my spiritual energy flowed more than twice as smoothly as before. The difficulty of breaking through to the late stage of chi refinement was instantly cut in half. This stuff could save an ordinary cultivator several years of hard training. Even for someone like me, it could save several months of accumulation. It would have originally taken me a year to break through to the late stage of chi refinement. I'm only one final step away now. If everything goes smoothly, I'm confident I can achieve a breakthrough within a month. Becoming an inner Sect disciple was right around the corner. Su Wanqing's soft voice drifted in from outside the door, word by word. Crystal clear, senior brother Lu, I'll be leaving now. Lu Benqin, just like any other day, finished tidying up his spirit field early. He greeted me as I was meditating by the field, and then headed to the Sect's cultivation chamber. He wasn't short on fees for the cultivation chamber, so he always came to cultivate in the ones built on the spirit vein. The concentration of spiritual energy there is much higher, making the efficiency of drawing chi into the body far greater than anywhere else. As for my neighbor, Lu Benqin, he was spurred on by me. He also gritted his teeth and increased his daily cultivation time, dead set on reaching the 6th level of qi refinement. He admired me from the bottom of his heart. After all, ever since we returned from the Flying Rainbow Mountain Range, I had only spent a few days catching up on some knowledge about spirit beasts before diving headfirst into arduous cultivation. Every day, besides tending to the spirit field, all my remaining time was spent meditating. He tried to copy my routine, but couldn't keep it up for more than 2 days. Refining spiritual energy is an extremely tedious task to begin with. Drawing qi into the body, refining it into spiritual power according to the technique, and circulating it through the meridians according to the cultivation method. All that's left is endless repetition. Repeating this 10 times isn't hard, but doing it 100 times inevitably leads to frustration. 1,000 or 10,000 times is simply torture. He couldn't figure out where I got such strong self-discipline, little knowing I wasn't as amazing as he thought. I could be so disciplined entirely because with every day of cultivation, I could tangibly feel myself taking a huge step forward, especially after taking the purple peach blossom and the qi gathering pill. My cultivation speed directly reached 15 times that of an ordinary cultivator, and the actual benefits were nearly 30 times greater. One day of my cultivation was equivalent to a month of hard work for my fellow outer sect disciples. This kind of continuous positive feedback naturally gave me endless energy. More than half a month passed by in a flash, until this day. Steward Chen came looking for me. Lu Li, there's a victory banquet today. Are you going? I had just emerged from the person High Spirit Rice, completely bewildered. Whose victory banquet? You really don't know? Steward Chen's face was full of surprise. The 3 sects joint competition was a few days ago. You didn't hear a single thing about such an important event? I was just wondering why I didn't see you in Blackrock County. Besides, no one even told me about it. Steward Chen comforted me a little, saying this time it was a beast taming competition. Since I don't tame beasts, it's no big deal that I missed it. He then casually advised me to interact more with my fellow sect members, otherwise I wouldn't be so clueless about major events like this. Then, he told me that in this triennial 3 sects joint competition, our Li Huo sect's Song Zhongwen took 1st place, and Song Zhongming got 10th place. The sect is holding a victory banquet for the 2 brothers. Song Zhongming is a disciple from our 2nd branch. He plans to go celebrate and asked me to gather at the branch entrance at 3/4 past the hour of you. He also asked me to inform Qin Feng and Lu Benqin on my way. I agreed. A moment later, I found Lu Benqin in the cultivation chamber and told him about the victory banquet. Upon hearing the news, Lu Benqin immediately exclaimed that the Song family truly is in a league of their own when it comes to beast taming. The #1 beast tamer of the next generation in Li province will most likely be from the Song family again. I took the opportunity to ask around and only then learned that the Song family's ancestor originally made his name through beast taming. He had an extremely powerful foundation establishment spirit beast and had also mastered a secret combination attack technique with his spirit beast. Relying on this strength, he joined a merchant caravan, raising his spirit beast while engaging in trade. They've made a fortune and are now the wealthiest family in the Li Huo sect. Along the way, he also filled me in on the 5 great families of the Li Huo sect, the newly prominent Zhang family, who are masters of alchemy, the Lu family of the plains, who specialize in spirit fields, and the well-established Chen family, masters of both alchemy and artifact refinement. Then there's the Su family of South Lake with their carp leaping over lotus, and the beast-taming Song family, who are indescribably rich. Right after that, we arrived at the victory banquet on the sect's main peak. Just as I took my seat, a voice piped up next to me, "Well, if it isn't Senior Brother Lu. I thought you couldn't be bothered with such trivial matters." The speaker was Li Sibao. I remembered him. He was the one who blocked our way at the valley exit in the Flying Rainbow Mountain Range. What surprised me was that after not seeing him for half a month, he had actually broken through to the 6th level of qi refinement and was now intentionally showing off his cultivation aura. His face was full of smug satisfaction, and as he looked at me, his eyes held an unconcealed hostility. I smiled and clasped my hands. "Ah, so it's Junior Brother Li. Congratulations on your breakthrough, Junior Brother. You've advanced yet again." He pursed his lips and gave a dismissive reply. Anyone could see he was looking for trouble. At the time, I just found it baffling. It wasn't until later that I found out. Half a month ago, a mysterious person had bribed him with a spirit pill that allowed for a quick breakthrough, giving him the task of teaching me a lesson under some reasonable pretext. The client's real objective was to use the conflict to test my true strength. Then, they would decide whether to carry out the pruning operation against me, a plan designed specifically to eliminate disciples who weren't from the great families, but who showed great potential for growth. Li Sibao had no idea about any of this. He was already walking a dead-end path, his mind consumed with how to start a feud with me. During the celebratory part of the banquet, the Song brothers, led by their ancestor, shared their insights on beast taming. The conversation naturally shifted to spirit beasts. Lu Benqin turned to me, as I had been silently eating this whole time. He took the initiative to ask, "Senior Brother Lu, if it were you, what kind of spirit beast would you choose?" Li Sibao immediately lit up. His eyes were gleaming, just waiting for me to open my mouth. No matter what I said, he was ready to jump up and argue just to stir up trouble. put down my chopsticks, raised my finger, and pointed to the dragon blood mystic turtle beside the Song family's ancestor. I answered calmly, I don't know the breed. In any case, that one. Li Sibao shot to his feet, a retort already on the tip of his tongue. But then he suddenly realized this was the Song family's victory banquet, and he was surrounded by their clansmen. Furthermore, this mystic turtle was their ancestors' most prized possession. If he dared to say one bad thing about it, he'd be beaten half to death and thrown out on the spot. Steward Chen looked over at him. Li Sibao, you stood up so suddenly. Is there a problem? He forced a strained smile and lied, saying he had a leg cramp. He sullenly sat back down, his face turning green from holding back his words. Steward Chen laughed and smoothed things over, praising my ambition. He added that this dragon blood mystic turtle is the only one in all of Li province, so my goal is far from easy to achieve. Just as he said that, Chen Guangyu, who was sitting nearby, suddenly spoke up, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Junior brother Lu has quite the aptitude. Breaking through realms is as easy as eating and drinking for him. Who knows, in 3 to 5 years, he might just break through to the foundation establishment stage. Naturally, he'd set his sights high. I knew exactly what he was doing. He had just seen Zhang Xixuan looking at me earlier, and was burning with jealousy. Seeing this, Li Sibao was overjoyed. He had finally found his chance and immediately jumped in to fan the flames. He was being passive-aggressive, implying I was arrogant and looked down on our fellow disciples, then gave a phony apology. In reality, he was just escalating the conflict, wishing everyone at the table knew we didn't get along. I just smiled calmly and replied, Senior brother Chen, you must be joking. The path of cultivation is arduous, and breaking through to the next realm is truly difficult. As for what Junior brother Li said, that's complete nonsense. I only have a low-grade spiritual root. What talent could I possibly possess? All I can rely on is cultivating twice as hard, making up for my lack of talent with diligence. Lu Benqin immediately stood up to back me up, saying I cultivate bitterly for no less than 6 hours every day. He said he saw it all with his own eyes, then he turned and unleashed his fury on Li Sibao. He cursed him for being a petty person who measures a gentleman by his own low standards. The atmosphere instantly became tense. Steward Chen immediately shouted for them to stop and punish Chen Guangyu, Li Sibao, and Lu Benqin by making them face the wall and reflect for a day and a night. Lu Benqin smiled at me, then got up and left coolly. Steward Chen shot Chen Guangyu a glare. He scurried away from the scene. Only Li Sibao, before leaving, deliberately shot me a sinister, wolf-like glare. He kept muttering vicious threats, as if afraid others wouldn't see that we had become mortal enemies. He, on the other hand, was pleased, feeling like he'd perfectly completed the first step of his mission. But alarm bells were ringing in my head. I had no past grievances or recent enmity with him. At most, we were mere acquaintances. This abnormal hostility of his was definitely suspicious. The atmosphere for the rest of the banquet was awkward. Qin Feng and I just kept our heads down and ate. After we had our fill of food and drink, I politely declined the invitation to the trading fair that followed and went straight back to the second branch courtyard. Right now, nothing is more important than improving my strength. I've already reached the threshold of the 7th level of Qi refining. I'm just one step away. I sat cross-legged and began to meditate. I cleared my mind of distracting thoughts and stayed up all night. The chill of the golden autumn 9th month filled the room, but I didn't notice it at all, not until the first ray of morning sun broke through the horizon. The purple Qi rose from the east. I snapped my eyes open. The mana in my body surged, and hot spiritual energy radiated from me. I had successfully broken through to the 7th level of Qi refining. I had officially entered the late stage of Qi refining. In the next second, 3 cards shimmering with golden light appeared before me. 3 options were laid out. Bitterness before sweetness. After you lose 50 years of your lifespan, you will obtain 4 random magical artifacts. Meditation 1. As long as you are not carrying any magical artifacts, you can recover 1 point of mana every quarter of an hour. Buy 1, get 1 free, for every furnace of pills you refine. You will receive an additional, completely identical furnace of pills. I passed on the first option immediately. Trading 50 years of my life for 4 magical artifacts? That's completely insane. The second option, meditation, is powerful, but my current abilities are already enough to cover my mana recovery. The cost-benefit ratio is too low. That leaves only the third option, buy 1, get 1 free. It seems to be exclusive to alchemists, but the 3 major challenges of alchemy, legacy, cost, and time are things I can solve. Inner disciples can receive pill recipes for free, and the spirit stones I saved from the last trial are enough for startup capital. I'm also confident enough in my combat abilities, so I'm not afraid of delaying my cultivation at all. I decisively chose buy 1, get 1 free. I then used the afterglow of my breakthrough to circulate my energy and solidify my cultivation base. Having reached the 7th level of Qi refining, my Dantian's capacity has finally expanded to hold 90 streams of mana. With this foundation, I can finally participate in real combat and accept Sect missions. I also no longer have to guard the spirit fields and can receive a higher monthly allowance. I had just returned to my room and lain down for less than 10 breaths when I heard a noise outside. It was Li Sibao, who had been punished for a day and a night. He was carrying a bottle of spirit wine and swaggering up to my house. At this time, all my neighbors were out and about with their own tasks. The area was completely deserted. He chugged down a few mouthfuls of wine and drew the flying sword from his waist. He pried open the latch, burst in, and slashed right at my bed. I was instantly wide awake. I pushed off with my legs, shattering the bedboards. I did a kip up, landed by the window, and performed the golden light spell, summoning a protective golden aura. Seeing who it was, I shouted sternly, "Lee Sibao, what do you think you're doing?" He froze for a moment, then sneered. He formed a hand seal, conjuring several ice shards that shot towards me. I summoned an earth shield to block the attack and threw a fireball with my left hand. It flew straight for his face. The moment he raised his sword to block it, the fireball blasted right through his flying sword and slammed into his dantian. The massive impact sent him crashing into the wall behind him. He looked down at the hole in his stomach and stared blankly for 3 seconds before letting out a blood-curdling scream. I immediately shot out a wooden vine, binding him tightly in midair. I conjured another fireball in my palm, holding it right in front of his eyes. I barked, "I'm giving you one last chance. Tell me the truth. Who sent you to cause trouble for me?" He was still acting tough, shouting back, threatening me with the sect's rules, saying he'd report me to the Hall of Enforcement. But before he could finish, he suddenly spat out a mouthful of black blood. I instantly realized something was wrong. There was a potent poison hidden inside him. It had already seeped deep into his meridians. I immediately retracted the wooden vine. I used a water healing spell to cleanse the toxins from his body, temporarily saving his life. Staring at the pool of black, poisonous blood on the floor, Lee Sibao completely panicked. He swallowed a pill and activated a water healing talisman, but nothing worked. All he could do was lie paralyzed on the floor, crying and begging me to save him. He finally confessed everything, telling me the whole story of how a mysterious person bribed him. He also revealed the person's true motive, to use him to test my abilities. And even to get rid of me. And he was the only one who had seen that mysterious person's true face. I knew very well, he couldn't die here and sever that clue. Besides, if he died in my room, I'd be the first one they'd suspect. I used the water healing spell again to stabilize the poison in his body, then raised my hand and shot a fireball. It ignited the roof of the tallest house in the distance, hoping to attract others as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, Manager Chen was feeling extremely agitated. After attending the celebration banquet yesterday, he was summoned for a talk by one of the family's respected elders. The elder hinted, in no uncertain terms, that he should resign from his position as manager of the second branch and return to the clan to focus on alchemy to deal with the ever-increasing competition from the Zhang family. The Chen family was renowned for both its elixirs and artifacts, but ever since the Zhang family rose to prominence, most of the medicinal herb market had been taken over by them, causing profits to plummet. What's worse, the trade routes were cut off. The Chen family's artifact refining business was also greatly affected. The spirit ore refining business in Lizhou had always relied on exports. Now that the Divine Fire sect had established a foothold, the trade routes might not recover for another 3 to 5 years. 2 months ago, the Chen family had already reached an agreement with the artifact refining families of 2 other sects to jointly reduce the production of magical artifacts. Naturally, the income from artifact refining also dropped significantly. After some calculation, the family elders realized that Manager Chen, a foundation establishment cultivator, had yet to learn any specialized skills. How could this be acceptable? The clan elders took turns speaking with him. Especially after seeing the performance of the Song family's younger generation, they used both carrot and stick tactics. They forced him to learn alchemy to generate income for the clan. Steward Chen tried to get out of it by offering to pay an extra 30% in spirit stones. But he was flatly rejected by the clan elders, who only urged him to shoulder the burden of the family's pill business. Just as this was giving him a massive headache, a real ball of fire suddenly shot up right in front of him. 10 breaths later, a pale white beam of sword light came crashing down with a roar. Steward Chen waved his hand, freezing the entire roof. As he looked up, he saw me not far away, desperately trying to use a water healing spell. I was suppressing the deadly poison that was spreading wildly through Lee Sibao's body. His breath was already as faint as a thread. He already had 1 foot in the grave. He rushed forward in a few steps. While grabbing Lee Sibao's wrist to check his injuries, he asked me in a deep voice what was going on. I let out a sigh of relief. This poison is much more aggressive than I thought. In an hour at most, it would have invaded his heart meridian. Steward Chen arrived just in the nick of time. I immediately answered, "Steward, I was resting this morning." Lee Sibao suddenly burst in and attacked me. He was injured by me during our fight. The next thing I knew, he was afflicted by this poison of unknown origin. He confessed himself that someone had sent him here. When Lee Sibao heard this, he used the last of his strength to roar, "Steward, save me. The poisoned wine is buried in the right corner of the wall. I still have half a bottle left. I'm begging you, save me." Steward Chen's expression remained calm. He first asked him, "Who gave you the wine?" Lee Sibao struggled to shake his head. "I don't know his name, but I recognize his face. When I get better, I'll take you to him." Steward Chen turned to look at me. "Have you offended anyone recently?" Before I had a chance to speak, Lee Sibao suddenly began to cough violently. Without the water healing spell to suppress it, the poison began to surge toward his heart meridian like crazy. He was so anxious his eyes looked like they were about to burst. He pleaded repeatedly to be saved first, but Steward Chen didn't cast a spell. He only took out a pill from his storage pouch. The pill looked no different from an ordinary qi-nourishing pill, but it emitted a uniquely refreshing medicinal fragrance. I only had to smell it once to feel completely refreshed. In that instant, the light of hope ignited in Li Sibao's eyes. Steward Chen looked at him, his tone steady yet carrying an indisputable sense of pressure. The poison in your body is extremely aggressive.